Welcome to Healed But Still Petty, stories from my collection of writings. Some stories leave scars, some leave lessons, and some leave both. This is Healed But Still Petty. Dear Journal, so I did what any reasonable woman who has done the inner work would do. I asked for details before I agreed to anything. What's wrong with her, Andre? He exhaled like the question was an inconvenient. Classic. Even when he needed something, he couldn't resist making you feel like you were asking too much. Her pressure has been bad, real bad. She had an episode last week and they kept her overnight. She's home now, but she can't be alone. I closed my eyes again. Miss Loretta, 71 years old, stubborn as the day is long, proud in that quiet, dignified way that makes you want to do anything, just to see her smile. Where's your sister? I asked. Where's everybody else? Tanya's in Atlanta. Her job won't let her leave right now. And Mama won't let strangers in the house. You know how she is. I did know. Miss Loretta had a specific and well-documented distrust of people she hadn't personally vetted, which meant home health aides were not going to work, which meant Andre had exhausted every other option before he called me, which meant I was not the first choice. I was the last resort. And somehow, knowing that made it easier to say yes, because I wasn't doing it for him. I'll check on her, I said. But let me be clear, Andre. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for your mother. You do not get to use this as an opportunity for anything. Are we understood? A pause. Yeah, good. I hung up before he could say anything else. Miss Loretta looked smaller than I remembered. Not frail exactly, just quieter, like someone had turned her volume down 2 notches and hadn't turned it back up yet. But the moment she saw me standing in her doorway with a container of soup and a box of her favorite tea, she straightened up in that chair like she was receiving royalty. Baby, she said, and held out both hands, and I melted. Just like that. All the armor I'd spent 2 years carefully constructing softened at the edges the second she touched my face. You didn't have to come, she said. I know, I told her. I wanted to. That part was true. I spent the first 2 hours just being with her. We talked about her garden, her church, a neighbor who had been getting on her nerves since February. She told me about a sermon she'd heard that she thought I needed to receive, and I sat there and received it without argument, because some battles are not worth having with a 71-year-old woman who is always right anyway. She never mentioned Andre, not once, and I loved her for it. He showed up on the 3rd day. I should have expected it. I don't know why I didn't. I was in Miss Loretta's kitchen reheating leftovers when I heard a key in the front door, and something in my stomach dropped before my brain even caught up. Then he walked in, older, tired around the eyes, but still Andre, still carrying himself like he expected the room to rearrange itself around him. He stopped when he saw me. I turned back to the stove. Electra. Andre, I didn't know you'd still be here. I told your mother I'd come back today. I keep my word. I felt him pause at that. Good. He sat down at the kitchen table, and for a few minutes, neither of us said anything. Just the sound of the stove. The refrigerator hum, a television murmuring from the back room where Miss Loretta was resting. She seems better, he said finally. She is. She just needs consistency. Another silence. Then, you look good, Electra. I laughed. Not because it was charming, because it was so predictable I could have written it myself. Andre, I'm just saying, don't. He got quiet. But he didn't leave, and that was the thing about Andre that I'd almost forgotten. He didn't push hard. He never had. He just stayed. Stayed until your guard got tired. Stayed until you started filling the silence yourself. Stayed until you forgot why you'd put the wall up in the first place. I had been here before. I recognized this game. What I didn't expect was what he said next. What I didn't expect was for him to reach into his jacket pocket and set something on Miss Loretta's kitchen table. Something small, something in a ring box. And I didn't expect for my heart to do the thing it did when I saw it. Because I was healed. I was. But healing doesn't mean you stop feeling. It just means you know better. And knowing better and doing better? Sometimes those are two very different things. To be continued.